What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment. IG TikTok bottom video. It's gonna hop right into it. So today I will be doing the NFL draft reaction. Yesterday I was going. Well, I guess it would have been posted on Wednesday, but Thursday. This will be up on Thursday. I was gonna do at least first part of the video was gonna be talking about the Celtics and then get into my NBA mock draft. But obviously the draft or the first round, not the second round, is over now. So I'm just gonna give my reaction to it. So we basically just gonna go down the line of who got drafted and my opinions on it, and yeah, that's it. Obviously, we already knew once the draft lottery was over, we already knew who was going to win that. I mean, not even I said win that, but not even the draft lottery. We knew basically since the beginning of last season, last NBA season, last college season, Cooper Flag was going number one. Simple fact. I mean, I don't think we need to, hark on that point. We already knew that was going to happen. So obviously, next year they'll probably roll out. This is going to be an interesting. Jason Kidd has an interesting decision in where he wants to play Cooper Flag. A lot of people are being like, I've heard some people be like, they didn't think Cooper Flag was a great fit on Dallas because they feel like he'll have to play small forward. In my personal opinion, nigga, we're in 2025. Who the fuck gives a fuck what position he plays? As long as a nigga can guard, who the fuck is out there? Like, nobody cares what position you play as long as you can guard who is out there and you provide enough, and who's on the court provides enough space, adequate spacing for y'all to keep up with 3-point shooter. There is no him being him realistically, bro. If we're going off of positions, he's obviously a power forward, but it don't matter, my nigga, if he play power forward. First of all, he could definitely play small forward. I don't know why people feel like he couldn't play. Come on, bro. Look at the nigga. Anyway, so back to Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd has an interesting decision. Jason Kidd has an interesting decision in the fact of, do he want to go super big and go Kyrie? I'm blanking on who else would play the two guard on that team, but Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and or Gafford. He could do that. Or he could, go more, 2025 and probably start Cooper Flag at the 4, Anthony Davis at the 5. But the problem with that is he has Lively and Gafford coming off the bench. So I don't see that happening. I see them starting. I see them Kyrie. I cannot remember who else is on this damn team. I know they ain't going to start no damn Max Christie. So I can't remember who else is the two guard on that. Who would be the two guard on the team? But Cooper, AD, Lively. That's I'm imagining who they starting lineup is. I just can't imagine that you would want. First of all, you pay Gafford a lot of money. Just now, they just paid Gafford a lot of money. It's no way you're going to stick Lively and Gafford on the bench. So they got it. They're going to start him. Next, we obviously get into the Spurs. Daniel Harper, obviously. I mean Dylan Harper. Damn. I mean, obviously, this was also one once niggas, once the NBA draft smoke kind of, settled, we kind of knew he probably was going number two. Now, only thing about this is now the Spurs do have a lot of guards. You have De'Aaron Fox, you have Dylan Harper, and Stephon Castle. The thing about that team is they all play different. So that's what helps them a lot. Now, I would say Fox and Castle probably have a little bit of a similar play type, but the fact that Fox has been in the league so long, Fox's game has started, the game has started to slow down for him. Obviously, he's still a fucking blur, but the game has started to slow down for him, so he's a lot more skilled, especially, and Fox was, even in college, he's been in mid-range clear. The floater game, the in-between game. Fox has always been, this is game in between, getting downhill, being explosive. That was his game. Him and Castle, they favor each other in that. But Castle, I would say Castle's probably a better vertical athlete than Fox is. He's not as fast as Fox. Fox is a fucking blur. But he's a better vertical athlete than Fox. And I would say he's probably more of a aggressive rim pressure, some of that. And Dylan Harper is just gonna provide so much skill to that team. Dylan Harper obviously is the most skilled. Well, I'm not gonna say obviously because De'Aaron Fox has been leading long, but we project Dylan Harper when he finally becomes what he becomes as a player will be the most skilled of them all. I have actually I've seen Dylan Harper in high school up close. I've when I did the Glaxo tournament, as well as I was behind the camera interviewing him. I didn't interview him myself, but I was behind the camera. But I have seen, I've just seen him up close, and I've seen what he's capable of, and I've seen they'll make it work. He's big. I'm not gonna lie. He's bigger than you think he is. He's like a legit 6'5", 6'6". So him and Castle's about the same size. Definitely bigger than Fox. Fox is kind of tall. Fox is like 6'3". So they'll make it work. They're Spurs. They'll make it work. We'll probably see. I doubt they'll start all three. I know they're not starting all three, but we'll definitely see a lot of 3 guard lineups like that year with OKC with Schroeder, CP, and Shea. We'll see it. We'll see a lot of 3 guard lineups, and shit, why not? Especially when you got a fucking 7'5" alien behind you to protect everything. I don't think you're too worried about what goes on. Now, the next thing, that concerns me is the Philadelphia 76ers. I do believe that if Ace Bailey didn't pull all his shit talking about he canceling the draft thing and he was trying to he wasn't trying to get drafted by these specific teams, which I understand why he did it because he wanted to shoot the ball. But I'll get into him next because he got picked fifth, or not next, the fifth pick. But I don't. And VJ Edgecombe was obviously, after Ace Bailey, was obviously the next best player on the board. I understand. But I don't get his fit. Not with this team. I feel like, yeah, basketball in previous year, it was like, go to best player, best talent available, and we'll just figure it out. I feel like now more than ever, fit is very important in basketball. I don't understand how VJ Edgecombe fits with their best 2 players. Now, I'm not talking about Paul George either. So if you're like, nigga, no, I'm not talking about Paul George. I don't think Paul George is their best 2 player anymore. I think Maxey and Embiid have solidified themselves as the best 2 player. He'll easily fit with Paul George. Paul George is a do-it-all wing, and Paul George has always been a great shooter. So that's an easy fit. My concern with Edgecombe, Edgecombe is easily probably the best athlete in the draft, downhill finisher, vertical threat, and obviously the other parts of his game are kind of raw, but him getting to the basket is going to be an apparent thing just because he's that gifted athletically. That's where my concern is at, because he has to get to the basket. He cannot shoot. Not right now, at least. He cannot shoot. So Maxey can shoot, but Maxey's game is in him being a downhill guard and using his speed, as well as Embiid is going to play. I wouldn't call Embiid a post-up player. Well, he can post up, but he more faces up ISO, like from the free throw line within. And, sometimes he, goes out for the three. He might shoot a little more threes than we want him to do. But both of their games kind of predicate on, in the game, like within, I ain't gonna say within 20 feet because Maxey can shoot the ball, but I'm saying he needs to get downhill, and Embiid is playing within like 23, 22 feet. Or, well, that's the 3-point line in the corner. 20 feet. He's playing within 20 feet, and you got somebody who desperately needs to get to the basket to be effective right now on the offensive end. I didn't understand that pick. I mean, I did understand the pick from with the Ace Bailey bullshit, but I didn't. As far as fit, I didn't like that pick. As far as Con Knipple, as I thought more about the Hornets picks, actually, if y'all haven't picked, I mean, y'all know this already if you watched it, but I'm from North Carolina, so obviously I'm not a Hornets fan. I ain't gonna lie, I denounced my Hornets fanship a long time ago. Well, I think I denounced it when they drafted Cody Zeller 4th overall. That shit was, I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't do it more. That we you know how many times I think we drafted a nigga over Victor, and not Cody Zeller, but I think we drafted 2 ass players over Victor and Bradley Beal. So, and we trading the shade, Kobe and we just don't do well. But in all honesty, I'm actually high on this version of the Hornets. I just believe LaMelo can't stay healthy. I feel like if LaMelo had stayed healthy last season, they would have still been a good team. I feel like they'll still be a good team this year if LaMelo can stay healthy. I don't know if it's got something to do with them big Waller brand shoes, but LaMelo cannot fucking stay healthy. If LaMelo can figure out how to stay healthy, I feel like this team is dangerous. Not dangerous, but they'll be a good team. Let me say that. Now, I say all this to say now that I've thought about it more, the Con Knipple pick is not as bad as I thought it was going into it. Now, at 4, Ace Bailey was available. I don't think Ace Bailey was a great fit with this team, because Ace Bailey knows, and I feel like that's what his point of, nigga, I don't want to go to this team. Ace Bailey is not going. He has to be, he has to get his shots up. He is not going to be at least at this point in his career, he was not going to be great or effective at developing, being not a corner man, but someone who doesn't see the ball as much. Ace Bailey did a great thing by getting his ass. Well, he said he didn't want to play for Utah, which I didn't understand because nigga, he need to shoot. He obviously wants to shoot as many shots as he can, and that's probably the best thing for him in his development because of how he played. So I understood why they didn't want Ace Bailey. My thing with Colin Knueppel and the fit of this team is obviously in the middle of this they traded away Mark Williams in the middle of the draft, so that's a thing. But my thing was I don't feel like they need. I already kind of said it. They don't need somebody who will shoot the ball more. Even though he's a shooter, he can play off ball and just stand in the corner shooter. I feel like Edgecombe would have been the better. Well, if he was available, obviously, basically fucked everything up. Let's be honest. If he was available, honestly, because I feel like what they were missing in their team was somebody who was a great athlete who would have defend, get downhill, and things of that sort. Everything Edgecombe is about, I felt like they needed because look at their team as constructed. They have Melo, they have Brandon Miller, they have what projects to be their starting lineup now that we didn't got the whole draft in because I'm not going to talk about all 30 picks, so I can talk about him now. LaMelo, Miller, Bridges, McNeely, and Nurkic will probably be their starting five with Knueppel coming off the bench. Now, it looks better now, but before, I didn't really get it because I felt like they could have went Ball, Miller, if Edgecombe was. I felt like Edgecombe was a perfect pick. It just sounded crazy because he got picked before, but I just didn't. I just felt like with Knueppel, if they wanted to take their team to the next level, somebody has to play defense. Who on that team was going to play defense? Now that I see it feel out more, now I'm looking at, okay, it makes more sense. But still, who was playing defense on that team? That's why I didn't really like the Knueppel pick. They needed somebody who was going to lock them. But they got another shooter. But I just feel like they needed somebody, an athlete who was going to play defense. That's why I felt like Edgecombe was perfect. But, they couldn't do that. Now, next to Ace Bailey, I kind of already got into this basically with the last two. Ace Bailey just need to be on a team where he could shoot 1,000 shots a game for his development. I get it. I feel like he do need to be. I feel like Danny Ainge, Will Hardy, both of them are Boston Celtics. Now that I'm thinking about it, but Danny Ainge and Will Hardy, I feel like they're great. They're great for him, giving him structure. Danny Ainge just flats out don't give a fuck. Bailey was saying I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Danny Ainge ain't give a fuck. Danny Ainge was trying to hear none of that. So I feel like they will give him a great environment to develop in. And I've always been high on Ace Bailey. I mean, he's the kind of player I'm high on. I love potential big wings that can do it all, especially when they can handle and shoot. And he goes off of this. Far as the Wizards, this is the perfect pick at 6 for the Wizards. When they drafted him, I said, "Oh yeah, that's a hell of a pick. That was a great pick." I don't know if there's much more to say to that. I mean, honestly, I don't know what the hell they doing in Washington. I mean, they traded away Jordan Poole. Now they just got they just old as hell with Trey Johnson. It's a nasty team. I'm not even gonna lie. Them niggas got Middleton, Marcus Smart, C.J. McCollum, Trey Johnson, and is Kuzma still on that team? That's a nasty team, bro. And I don't mean nasty in a good way, bro. That is a disgusting team. They're tanking. I don't know if they think. Well, actually, next year would be a great year to tank. The only problem is the lottery. But if they can get Diabu, I don't even know how to say nigga first name, last name, AJ. They get him, I can see it. But if they gonna tank for him, but I wouldn't tank. NBA is kind of weird tank because that lottery just don't guarantee you shit. But I don't think it's too much to say about that pick. Pelicans get Jeremiah Fears, great fucking pick. And I was just talking about this with my homeboy. When the fuck did the Pelicans get this raw? Like on paper, please look at the Pelicans teams on paper. These niggas got Zion. Then they went and got Queen. They got perfect fit for Zion too. Queen. I don't think I can name another archetype player who fits better with Zion. Queen. They got Jordan Poole in the last couple of days. DeJounte Murray is coming back from an injury. Trey Murphy hooped his ass off last season. They still got Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, and Jordan Hawkins, and then now Jeremiah Fears coming off the bench. That's a top 4 seed. Am I tripping? That's a nice ass team. Me and my homeboy think they can really be a top. We feel like they can be the Houston Rockets of this year. Like is that not a top 4 seed? Like that's a raw ass team. So I feel like it was a phenomenal pick. I was high on Fears. Fears is a bucket. That I don't think is much more to say. Fears is a bucket. He's a bucket. Far as the Nets go, Nets just needed any talent they could get. Who the fuck on the next guy any hope? Cam Thompson, he getting kind of old now. I mean, to be like, oh, he's a young rising prospect. I mean, they got a lot of players that we like. Damn, nigga, just trade him so you can get some assets back because niggas want Cam Johnson. Niggas, I don't know about Cam Thomas, but Cam Thomas, I mean, I feel like if a nigga right team get him off the bench, he'll be a great piece. But niggas want Cam Johnson. Who else they got? Let's not even talk about the next thing. Never mind, because them niggas ain't got shit. They just need a talent, basically, is all I'm saying. Anybody go. The Raptors, they drafted Colin Murray Bowlesboro from South Carolina. The Raptors just like this like height range of players. You peep. They got Ingram who like 6'7". Scotty Barnes like 6'8". Bro, they just drafted like 6'8", 6'9". I know they still got Banton, that big ass point guard. They got who else they got on that team? Grady Dick, Emmanuel Quilly. I forgot about Emmanuel Quilly. RJ Barrett. I forgot about RJ Barrett for some reason. So, in all honesty, they'll probably be bad again. They'll probably be bad again. Now, I don't know if this is. I really don't see a route for this team. I don't know unless Scotty becomes a star and him and Brandon Ingram just works out together. That's the only route I can see for this team. But nah, nah. Honestly, he said nah. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, nah. It's cool though. I was about to say I don't know. I really don't know his fit with this team. The way he plays, he's kind of the way he's built. He remind me of Julius Randle. I gotta watch him again. I ain't watched too much South Carolina. Them niggas was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't gonna watch them. South Carolina men's basketball this year was absolutely fucking. I think they was like the only one or two SEC teams that didn't make the tournament. Them niggas was fucking pitiful. So I didn't watch a lot of South Carolina basketball. I'm not afraid men's basketball. I'm not afraid to admit it, but I still don't know about his fit with this team. Yeah, from what I've seen him. Next we get the Duke Big, got drafted by the Rockets but traded to the Suns. The Suns, I don't know if they're trying to gather assets. They got to be trying to gather assets because they did go get Mark Williams. Only thing with Mark Williams is it's something wrong with Mark Williams. We don't know what it is yet, but they know behind the scenes it's something wrong with Mark Williams. The reason I say that is we already knew the Lakers didn't pass physical, but two, why do the Hornets keep trying to get rid of him? He's a good player. And they center now is Nurkic. Why do the Hornets trying to get rid of him and the Lakers did pass physical? That hip is probably more toast than we think it is. And I mean, he's already moving kind of slower than he did at Duke, but they must think that hip is fried. Like, for the way they be moving. They be moving this nigga around like some hot potatoes. So they must definitely think that hip is fried. So that's not a I like to do big a lot. I like to do big a lot. So I feel like that's a great pick. Especially it's great if he's probably gonna be a backup this year. Mark Williams play, and they can round out the rest of their team either flipping Jalen Green or letting go of Bradley Beal. Wait, if they buy out Bradley Beal and they paying on who the fuck? How they gonna pay somebody? I ain't gonna lie. So I definitely think their only way out of this is trading Jalen Green because you gotta think about it. If they buy out Bill got a big ass contract, and they already paying like. I know they paying Monty Williams. They paying Budenholzer. Who it was one in between them. Frank Vogel, wasn't it? That would coach for them. That they're still paying. They just got a lot of money tied up, and I don't see how they obviously this is not gonna be a free agent destination. So yeah, I feel like the only way out is trading Jalen Green and filling out the rest of the team. But they can be a decent team with Bill Booker. Williams, and they get some defending forwards and a point guard, maybe some. I think Trey Jones on that team too, so they got Trey. Well, Trey Jones, I don't know. You might want him to play backup point guard, but they could be a good team. they could be a good team, a decent team. I'm not saying like playoff and shit, but I'm saying they fill out the rest of their roster. Trade deadline, they could be like a 7 seed, 8 seed. I don't know. Next team, the Trailblazers drafted Cedric Coward. from Washington State, but they traded him to the Grizzlies. Great fit with the Grizzlies. I feel like that's a great fit with the Grizzlies. I feel like it would have been even better if they had kept Bane. Coward is obviously going to play the 3 for them. Coward is very smooth, skilled. I think he can be. I could think he can be. Honestly, I think Coward could be one of those players that becomes greater than his draft position. Drafted at 11. Obviously, I don't know if he. We ain't. I'm not gonna say he can come like Shea, because Shea was drafted like 11 or 12, but. I think Coward can really be a great player with his skill set and everything that he does, especially with somebody like Ja Morant passing him the ball. I definitely think he can be a great player. I'm very high on Coward and what he does, but I mean, only time will tell. But I mean, obviously they won't be. He is a little bit of an older player. Older players usually come in experiencing, coming in what they is, so they're not, terribly bad at first. They come in pretty decent already, so they could make, they could be a decent team. Ja, Coward, Jaren Jackson. Maybe they want to put Jaren Jackson at the 4 and Edey at the 5. Only other thing would be that other guard position, but it's not a bad look. Actually, I like Coward's fit a lot on this team. Next thing, Noah SQ. That's the Bulls drafted. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know who that is, so I'm gonna skip over that. The Hawks drafted Derek Green, trade to the Pelicans. I already kind of really spoke on the Pelicans. I feel like that was a great pick. So next, Carter Bryant was drafted by the Spurs. Great pick. Another great pick. I think Carter, he's one of the big lengthy wings that are very important in this league today. Very athletic. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he does end up starting at the 4. I feel like for what all the guards that they got, I feel like he's a better fit than Sochan is. Sochan is obviously long, lengthy as well, but Sochan, I feel like his best. I mean, Pop did put him at a point guard, but I think Pop was just trying to see something out. But I feel like Sochan's kind of skill set. I feel like Sochan could be like a Boris Diaw in a way, and I don't feel like they need, obviously with all these guards, they don't need somebody else who wants to dribble the ball and pass it. Like they don't need somebody. They need somebody who will play defense, be out there pretty much doing the dirty work as a big wing, and that's what I think Carter Bryant be. So I would not be surprised if some point in the season that Carter Bryant does become their starting power forward. But I like the pick. I like Bryant a lot. The Thunder drafted Thomas Sober. Why do the Thunder have a lottery pick? Fuck who they drafted. Why do the Thunder have a lottery pick, bro? Like, why? That was pretty much the end of the lottery. And from here now, I just get into who was interesting and or who I know who was interesting from the end of the first round. So a lot of people were talking about the Chinese center being drafted by the Grizzlies at 16 and traded to the Trailblazers. Now, his agent is Rich Paul. Rich Paul is a miracle worker. I've seen some of his highlights. That was like he could be like the Chinese Jokic. No, because he's Jokic, but he looked like he can be very skilled. Honestly, he looks like he could be a very decent player in the NBA. Now he's not very. I'm not even gonna lie. He's not very athletically gifted, but in this day and age, we've seen plenty of non-athletically gifted players who are just smart and skilled enough to become good players, and I can see that for him. Now, the fact that he is a center and got traded to the Trailblazers, I think that lets us know somebody's getting traded. And obviously, we know it's one or two. We know it's not Clingan, and we know it's not him. So it's probably Ayton or Williams. Now, I was joking with my friends saying Ayton might be a Laker because I've heard somebody else say this, but they was trying to like, he saw all this. I was like, bro, let's not sleep on Ayton. But I say this all to say somebody's getting traded. Williams or Ayton is getting traded. There's no way these niggas start with 4 centers on their roster and 2 of them being young. Somebody's getting traded. So that's really why I brought that up. The Wizards at 18 drafted Walter Clayton Jr. traded to the Jazz. Now obviously Walter Clayton Jr. is a old guard. He's what, 22? He's my age, 22, 23. Getting drafted. So obviously they're down on players who are that age and late blooming and stuff. But I feel like Walter Clayton can still be a good player in the NBA. So that's why I like him on the Jazz. Kind of gives him the free will to figure it out. They're going to be bad again next year, most likely. Like they're going to be bad again next year, so he can go over there and figure it out. And I think Walter Clayton Jr. could be a pretty good guard in this league for what his skill set is. Next. Another interesting one, for me at least, is it's probably the last one I talked about because I already talked about really how I feel about Liam Mac. Well, I didn't get into much detail, so I'll probably end on Liam McNeely. But Jace Richardson to the Magic. Jace Richardson, if y'all didn't know, is Jason Richardson's son. But the reason I felt like this is interesting because I'm very high on the Magic next year. Especially with this Bane trade, I feel like the Magic can actually. I think they can win the East. With no Celtics, obviously the Knicks will be there. The Pacers won't be there because Tyrese will be out and he's their engine. So they really got the Knicks, the Cavs, and who else can be a dangerous team in the East that I really feel like that's it. I mean, the Celtics still gonna be good because they got Anthony and Jaylen Brown, but they're not gonna be the Celtics. But so I'm very high on the Magic, like I said. Now, the thing with the Magic is if you go look at their team, I mean, now that they got Desmond Bane, it does help. But Desmond Bane is more of a, off-ball player, catch-and-shoot player. I feel like Jace, obviously, he's not going to, he's probably not going to be a huge contributor as a rookie. But Jace's skill set, I feel like Jace's skill set is what they are, in great need of as a team. Obviously, they have Paolo, they have Franz, they have big wings who can score the ball, defend. Their identity is kind of more of a defensive team, especially when you have Jalen Suggs out there. So I just felt like with all their pieces, they're big. Well, you got Anthony Black coming off the bench who's probably developing something, but Anthony Black is not very skilled at scoring. He's just kind of a big point guard who can facilitate and defend. So I just feel like Jason Richardson is a lot of what they're missing as a team. Now, how much will he contribute, being that he is, 19 years old? I don't know, but drafting him at 25 and probably just let him come off the bench and play spurt minutes, I don't think it'll be the worst thing in the world, and I think it actually help him out a long end since I'm already high on him. Last player I'll talk about Liam McNeely. Like I said, I don't think I talked much about him when I was talking about the Hornets, but I do. Like I said, as they filled it out, I get the vision. I understand the vision a lot now. I get why they drafted. I get why they traded Williams and all that. I understand now. McNeely is going to be, he's probably going to be that starting power forward coming in, unless that French dude, he develops and becomes great. But he's probably going to be that starting power forward coming in. Like I said, it's probably going to be Ball, Miller, Bridges, McNeely, Nurkic. So I definitely get the vision now. McNeely's a great shooter, especially when you have somebody especially when you got LaMelo collapsing the defense and passing out to him, and then you have Miller on top of that, who's going to be a great scorer. He was a great scorer himself. Bridges, who will get downhill. So they have a lot of people who will help him out, collapsing the paint, getting him wide open shots. And I feel like in Spurs, you just have him play wide open. I mean, he shoots the ball. Have to defend a little bit. I mean, he does have good size. I don't know if he'll be a great defender in the league. I mean, probably he won't be a bad defender, but he ain't gonna be, locked the fuck down at the same time. But I feel like his fit with the team is great, especially now they filled out. So I do like that pick a lot. But that's really all I gotta say though with the first round. And so like, share, subscribe, comment, IG, TikTok, bottom video, and we out.